Hi, everyone. Welcome to our One World Zohar, our energy connection with the portion of this week. The portion of this week in the Zohar is it's portion Tzav. It's in our edition, it's volume 14. So it's volume 14, portion Tzav, TZAV, and we are at verse 11. Let's begin, as we do each time we study the Zohar, by connecting to the energy. Well, actually, asking for assistance in our study from the lineage of Kabbalists who were inviting in to help us, the Rav and Karen Michael, Rabbi Shlag, Rabbi Brandwein, the Ariya Kodesh, the Ramchal, Rabbi Tarfon, Rav Avram Mazulai, Rav Menachem Mendel of Vitebsk, Rav Kolonish Pir Piasetzan, the Baal Shem Tov, Rav Shimon Bar Yochai and all the students, Rav Mordechai of Chernobyl, one soul with Yosef Tzaddik, Joseph the Righteous in Shechem. There are no anniversaries of elevation today. But tomorrow there are. So tonight and tomorrow we have the assistance of Miriam the prophet, Moses' sister, one of the most elevated souls to walk the earth, and also Rav Shlag's teacher, who we only know as Rav Shlag's teacher because he remained anonymous. Um, so we have their assistance also in part today, but we have everyone else we invited in. As we connect to these verses, let's open our consciousness up to connecting to the upper realm. And let's begin by connecting to the energy of healing and sending energy of healing to everyone we know who needs healing. Actually, I'm sending energy of healing to Ariel Avigail Badina Tzipora, who was on the Air Canada flight that hit a fire truck at LaGuardia. And she's in intensive care, last I heard. So we're sending her energy of healing. I'm looking at my list and have everyone in mind that you know who needs healing. Let's also send an energy of assistance to those souls that we know in the first 12 months of their elevation. You could have been Abraham among them, and also Ganesa Badzev. Let's also connect to the energy of Ahavat Chinam, unconditional love, treating everyone in the world with human decency, ending the wars and conflicts in our world, protection, energy of protection for everyone in harm's way, protection from evil eye and evil speech, and removal of chaos and negativity from our world. Okay, put your seatbelts on for this section. Verse 11. Rabbi Elazar, Sha'il Rabbi Shimon, Avoy ve'amar. Hai kishura dechola it kishar bekodesh hakadashim it nahara it dabkuta de rava de chahane li levae v'Yisrael leila atecha ihu salka. Okay, so before we read the English, just to also additionally set our consciousness in this Shabbat. Now, this Shabbat is tonight and tomorrow. It starts at, roughly 18 minutes before sunset. But the energy of Shabbat, since we're past midday or approaching midday, the energy of Shabbat is already starting to infuse our world, which is why we do this class now, because we want to connect to that energy of Shabbat. This particular Shabbat is referred to as Shabbat Hagadol, which means the big Shabbat. I mean, every Shabbat is big. Stop and think for a second. Shabbat happens every week. Is it bigger than the holidays? Yes, it is. It is. It's a more significant connection than any of the holidays. And so it's always a huge opportunity for us to connect to the energy available to us, to connect to our soul. The playing field is tilted in our advantage as it applies to the other side that's always trying to mess us up. The Satan that's always trying to trip us up, that's always trying to take our light. All week long, we struggle. The Satan is like landing punches. On Shabbat, we have the upper hand. So it's like, I can ignore that opportunity, but I don't want to ignore that opportunity. It's an opportunity for me to remove chaos and negativity from my week to come. There's these extra souls that we have the opportunity to connect to, we get extra soul, neshama yasera. We have more soul on Shabbat. So we have restrictions, whatever those we choose to actually follow. Those restrictions are there to minimize physicality and maximize our spiritual connection to the energy of the day. And of course, when I say day, I mean starting tonight. The 25-hour period that starts just before sunset. So Shabbat HaGadol is like seed level for the Shabbat of each week in the year to come. So it's a super, super powerful opportunity. So wherever it is, wherever we're doing, we want to avail ourselves of that extra special connection that's available to us. And what better way to start that, to kick that off, than by reading Zohar now? Okay, Maria, verse 11, English.
Rabbi Eliezer asked his father, Rabbi Shimon.
Okay, so by way of introduction, the Zohar is telling us in this article that Rabbi Elazar, the son of Rabbi Shimon, asked him a question. Why is that even necessary? Why doesn't it just say, Rabbi Elazar asked Rabbi Shimon? Why is there a verse? Like everything here is significant. Like, why is that there? Well, for us, it's an opportunity to understand the importance of asking questions, of asking why. If you want a purposeful and meaningful life, you need to ask the question, why am I doing what I'm doing? If you feel that your life is purposeless, isn't meaningful enough, is directionless, maybe it's because you're doing things that you're not connecting to the purpose and meaning behind them. Maybe it's things that you shouldn't be doing. Maybe only doing them because it's important to someone else. It's really not important to you. Like this is a fundamental thing about the path we're on. Why am I doing what I'm doing? Now, granted, there are other paths where they don't want to hear that question. And that's fine. This is not to judge. But for me, and I mean me, I want to know the reasons why I'm doing that. I want to know the purpose behind it. I want to know the meaning behind it. Because I want I'm always striving to have a more purposeful and meaningful life. And so right away, first takeaway for us is Rabbi Elazar was the same way. And so he's asking Rabbi Shimon, his father. Now, what a blessing, what a merit to have Rabbi Shimon as your father. But like we kind of do, it's right here. He's right here with us right now. Essentially, Rabbi Elazar is asking the question, but we're asking the question. This is us. This is timeless. This question wasn't asked 2,000 years ago. It was. There's no time in the upper realm. This question is being asked right now. So let's just be present to answer to this question. We're asking the question. We're with Rabbi Elazar. We're asking this question of Rabbi Shimon. And Rabbi Shimon's here with us. Is he? Yeah. Where? He's here. You don't see him because of the limitations of being a spiritual being, having a physical experience. I'm looking around. All I see is physicality. Illusion. You can't say that enough. It's an illusion. I know, but like I can't ignore this. I'm not saying ignore it. I'm just saying it's not as it appears. So every decision we make, it's like, help, please, Creator, help me, please. I'm making a decision based on 1% information. You know, little help with this would be great. Okay, but right now we're here with Rabbi Elazar. We're here with Rabbi Shimon. We're asking Rabbi Shimon a question because we need to know the purpose of the things that we do. And what's the question? Certainly not an easy question. Gad.
Everything is bound in the Holy of Holies, Binah, as to illuminate.
Okay, so it's before we can ask the question, he's prefacing with this idea. And what's the idea?
Yet.
Wait a second, let's not even read that yet. What is the idea? He's saying, this is the circumstance, and then he's going to ask the question. It's a two-part question. There's really a one question, but there's two parts to it. First is, okay, where are we? Well, everything is bound in the Holy of Holies, so as to illuminate. Now, the Holy of Holies is a reference to that part of the temple or the tabernacle where no one was allowed to go. The high priest went there one day a year. Anyone know what day that was?
Yom Kippur.
Yom Kippur. Thank you, Aaron. Aaron's namesake, Aaron the high priest, went into the Holy of Holies one day a year on Yom Kippur. Major, major day. Still not as big as Shabbat. Pretty big though. And and by the way, like, amazing they were connecting to this, right before Shabbat. There's so much here. But so he would go in and he's but you couldn't go. And what happened to his sons, Nadav and Avihu, when they were connecting to the Holy of Holies? They died. It's like you're really playing with fire here, fire in metaphorical terms. Not only that, but in the temple, when it was when the tabernacle was replaced by the temple that eventually ended up on the Temple Mount in Jerusalem, its Temple Mount is still there. The western wall is the western wall of the Temple Mount. So when that high priest would go in every Yom Kippur into the Holy of Holies, the only day he was allowed to go in there to connect to blessings for the people for the whole year, they would tie a rope around his waist. And he would walk in with that rope because if he perished, they needed a way to extricate him. Because you can't go in, even to retrieve somebody. So the high priest would go, talk about an intense, and they didn't all make it. They didn't all survive that experience because you had to really be incredibly elevated. So the Holy of Holies is like, it's this energy vortex unlike any other. It represents, and so Rav Ashlag tells us, it's right there, Binah. It's the third Sphira. It's what we refer to, our teachers refer to, and you hear me refer to it all the time. Binah is the reservoir of fulfillment. So everything is found there. Everything is there. Whatever lack that you're experiencing, it's there. That's where it is. So the preface to the question is, okay, Rabbi Shimon, everything is in the Holy of Holies. Everything is in Binah so as to illuminate. What do you mean so as to illuminate? Well, all of my illumination comes, all my spiritual inspiration comes from there. All of my fulfillment comes from there. But to illuminate means to like actually, I'm the effect, not the cause. Like when we become illuminated by the energy that's there. And so that's what fulfillment is. So we are in this world, we are experiencing lack. And as I always say, like the slice of pizza is there just on the side of the counter. It's in Binah. Your fulfillment is there. Do I have it? I don't. Did I have it? Yeah. You wouldn't know. The things that you lack are things you had to have had, or you wouldn't know what lack felt like. And this is something our teachers have taught. It's an important point to remember. I actually had it. Or I wouldn't know what it's like to not have it. I know, but I haven't had soulmate and I don't have it now. Well, apparently then you did. You know what it's like to be with your soulmate, or you wouldn't feel lack. So just so we're clear, when you have that level of fulfillment of a lack, it's not for the first time. It's a reunion. The fulfillment is there. Well, why don't I have it? Because we have blockages. Because I put hurdles in the way. My negativity stands in the way. My blockages stand in the way. My ego stands in the way. So a super powerful second opportunity here to connect this whole idea is that the creator just wants to illuminate me all the time. He wants the creator, he, she wants to rain fulfillment down on me 24/7. I'm in the way. So I need to take a step back and think, well, in what ways well, my anger. The Ari explains that there's 5 sources of ego. Anyone know what they are? Anger, recognition, jealousy. I think jealousy is one of them. But really, all of those aspects of ego attach to some kind of lack. So, really, what this is about in terms of my journey, why I'm here, yes, I want to fulfill those lacks, but I really what I'm doing is I'm trying to remove that negativity. Because when I manifest my soul fully, the lack that shows up. Really? Yeah. If you work on yourself, your soulmate shows up. If you work on yourself, the fulfillment shows up. That's what I need. That's what I need to do. I need to be working on myself and trying to figure out in what ways do I need to grow? In what ways do I need to let go of things? In what ways do I have mindsets that just don't serve me? That's the work that we're doing. And so a huge and powerful connection to that on this Shabbat and ultimately on Passover, which is Wednesday night. That's the opportunity to crush your ego, to remove all those blockages. Every bite of matzah at that Seder is you want to have the consciousness of you're crushing your ego. This is like one of the most significant times of the year. We're here in our march towards the Passover Seder Wednesday night. Yes, Lala saying pride. I think I mentioned pride, but maybe I didn't. And control are two of the other aspects of soul. We have all of these. Some are more dominant than others, but they're all the result of some kind of lack that I'm covering for. So pride, I mean, I need recognition. That's ego. Why do I need recognition? Because I feel less than. Otherwise, I would self-validate. We all have that. We have it, but it's not serving us. What do you mean? It feels good when I get recognized. It's short term. It's not real. It's not sustainable. When you self-validate, it's internal. It's not based on externals, the recognition of others. I need to feel that spark of the creator in me. If I connect to the spark of the creator in me, I don't need anyone else's validation. I need to be me. I know, but I'm uncomfortable. Oh, well, that's another aspect of your lack. Be comfortable in your own skin. I mean, it's not easy to say, so easy to say. But this is the work we're here to do. And this is among the most opportune times in the world to turn our attention to that. Where is it that I have this reactive ego, and what is the lack underlying that I need to address? Okay, with that, let's continue with the question.
Yet, whither does the cleaving of the wish of the priest, the Levites, and Israel rise?
Okay, so it's like I'm reading Shakespeare again, only without the notes, like whither. So, and this is the furthest thing from Shakespeare. What are the priests there to do? They're there to help us remove our negativity. That was their role. So that is the wish that they're cleaving to. The removal of negativity of the children of Israel, of the world. The question, and it's the Levites and the children of Israel. The Levites are a separate tribe. The rest of us, in theory, are all from the tribe of Judah because there are 10 lost tribes. Although some of us may be from those 10 lost tribes, we don't have the org chart for that. But if you're here, you're among the children of Israel. That's simple. So what did the priests do? They would go in, and they're doing their sacrifices for different purposes, but the big ones are like helping us see our negativity, remove our negativity. We don't have that now, right? Because there is no temple, and the priests and the Levites are not doing the temple service. So, like, what is this even? How's this relevant? That's what prayer is. Prayer took the place of those sacrifices. So when we pray, it's to connect to that energy of the Creator. And so the question is, where does it go? That desire, I'm sending desire, help me, Creator, with whatever, all my lacks, help me, Creator. Where's that desire? Where's that wish? Where's that request going to? Well, I thought it was going to God. Just so we're clear, the problem with using terms like God is it's limiting.
Mm.
The moment I put a label on something, and we've studied this before in different contexts, it's the moment I place the label on something, I limit it, which is why we and Kabbalists refer to sometimes the creator as light. Because we have these concepts of beginnings, of ends, of limitations, because we're living in a world with beginnings, ends, and limitations. That's our frame of reference. But we're not connecting to limitations, we're connecting to unlimited. If I think I'm connecting to limited, I've just short-circuited the connection. If I think my fulfillment is going to come from my lucky rabbit's foot, I place a severe limitation on it because it has nothing to do with the rabbit's foot. If I think my fulfillment is coming from stars in the sky or I'm a sun worshiper or a moon worshiper, once again, place limits, disconnect. That's why Kabbalists take such a dim view of what we know as idol worship. What is idol worship? Oh, ultimately, idol worship is placing a power in something physical. It's limited. And we're always trying to connect to the unlimited, to the light. So even the name God is somewhat limiting. So that's the question that Rabbi Elazar asks Rabbi Shimon. Where do the requests of the priests, where are the prayers, where do our prayers, where do they go? Where do they rise to? Are they really going up, by the way? Should we look up? Oh, we do, because again, it's anthropomorphic. We're stuck in a physical world with beginnings, with ends, with ups, with downs, with straight lines, with circles. That's just the physical, that's not the spiritual realm. But again, it's our reference point because that's the best that we can do as spiritual beings having a physical experience. Okay, let's continue. Verse 12. Again, we're in volume 14, portion of Tzav, and verse 12. Amar le hayokimna ad ein sof. D'chol kishura v'yichuda ushlimu la'atzne'a beha'utzni'u. D'la'it debak. D'la'it yida. D'rava d'chora avin be. And sof la kaima laoda'a, v'la lamad sof, v'la lamad rosh, kama ayin kadma'a, apik rosh v'sof, man rosh, da nakuda ila'a di'ihi, resha d'chola stima, de kaima go machshava, v'aved sof, di'ikre sof davar, avalatam and sof. Okay, let's go slow. Here's Rabbi Shimon's answer to the question, where do our wishes and those of the high priests and the Levites and the children of Israel, where do they go? Where do our wishes go?
He said to him, we have explained that their devotion rises to the endless world.
Okay, let's just stop there. The word for endless world is Ein Sof. Now, I want to say something about the word. It's translated as endless, that endless world. That's an accurate translation. But the thing about endless is like, again, it's a label, endless. Oh, okay, it's endless. What is that? The Aramaic and the Hebrew is actually Ein Sof, and Ein Sof is a major, major Kabbalistic idea. It's definitely more of an advanced idea, but I think we can all handle it. I think Ein Sof means no end. Ein, no, Sof, end. Is it really telling us what it is, or is it telling us what it isn't? It's essentially telling us what it isn't. There's no end. Wherever it's going, there's no end. That is limitless by definition. It's going to a realm that has no end. And the interesting thing about that is, as a mortal, as a spiritual being, but experiencing physicality and trying to experience everything through my senses, I am limited in my ability to understand infinity, no end. I just cannot, I don't get it. I get it's a thing, but what is it? I only know it from what it isn't. I'll tell you what it isn't. It isn't the void, because essentially it's probably everything. So by definition, nothingness is everything in this context, because it's all coming from Ein Sof, that world with no end. So it's coming from a concept that it's the limitations to conscious thought. We're bumping up against a boundary that we're unable to conceive of because we're having a human experience. And we're going to be okay with that. Because it's one of those paradoxes, like everything is coming from nothing. It's a paradox. And when you're, as the Rav used to say, when you see a paradox, you're closer to the truth. It is the truth. This is the world of lies. Ein Sof is the world of truth. Limitlessness is truth. And I just want to master an obvious point to me, which is, and we've talked about this before, if I go into space in any direction, it's endless. We're in the endless world, but like consciously, I got to stick to my Dalit Amos, my four corners here, my space, which is I gotta, go to the grocery store and show up in the dentist on time and whatever and deal with people. Like I'm in this world, but ultimately, just understand, even from a physical standpoint, you are smack dab in the middle of the endless world. I forget which comedian is not important. We're on a rock that's flying through space at, 30 million light years a mile. I don't know. We're just flying through space all the time in an expanding universe. I mean, it appears to be expanding. Can endlessness expand? It's already endless. Again, another paradox. We don't need to figure that out, but it's helpful to understand that so we can focus on the work we need to do and not take it ultimately too seriously. It's serious work, but ultimately we're in the endless world. We're spiritual beings having a physical experience. We came here to get some work done. Let's just work on it. What's the work? Me, the ultimate journey. This in your head is your consciousness. Consciousness is everything. Your consciousness determines your reality. So ultimately, what is the question the Rabbi Elazar is asking Rabbi Shimon? Where do our prayers go? They go to the endless, which is also where all the fulfillment is. Let's continue.
Since any bound, union, or perfection secretly conceal that which is not to be comprehended or known, in which the desire of all desires lies.
I mean, this line right here, we could talk about for a month. So, yes, everything rises to the world of Ein Sof, a realm that we can't conceive of. We can't conceive of the creator because the creator is this endless of the energy of Ein Sof. That's all we know. It doesn't have an end. Again, we don't know what it is. We just know it doesn't have an end. And again, I want to have certainty in that. If you want to have certainty in light, then just let's have certainty in the fact that there is an endless world, which is the source of everything. That's a great place to anchor my certainty. It's all there. Where is it? Endless world. What's that? Don't know. We can't comprehend that. So, but what happens is, once we create that bond, once we create that union, once we create that perfect alignment with Ein Sof, it secretly conceals that which is not to be apprehended or known, in which the desire of all desire lies. Our comprehension ends there. It's concealed. We're in union with that concealed energy. Well, how do you do that? How do you form a connection? It's the Ein Sof. That's what we're doing. Again, it's a paradox. I don't have to understand it though to connect to it. I don't have to understand it to have full understanding, to have certainty about it. I have certainty. I'll be honest with you. Here's a personal revelation. Like, you're on this path. I mean, you're going to get rocked. And in that sense, I mean, you're going to have serious questions about what is this all about? And one of the things that, for whatever reasons I can't understand, one of the places where I've always been able to anchor my consciousness is in the concept of Ein Sof. Like before I was on this path, for some reason, that used to come up for me. And then I got on this path and I realized, oh, this is actually on the path. It was like, oh my God, I can easily anchor my consciousness in this idea of Ein Sof because I've always been pondering that. And knowing that it's part of our understanding of the universe helped to remove a lot of anxiety I had over the concept that I couldn't wrap my head around. So multiple opportunities for us here in this study, and that is that being comfortable with the unknowable and the concealed and the endless. Let's be comfortable with it. When you are present to that, you're making among the highest connections you can make. Paradoxically, connecting with nothing sounds like nothing, and it's everything. Yes, Aaron.
I just want to piggyback off of what you said. It's being like kind of comfortable with the unknown. And
Yes.
I think a lot of people are uncomfortable with that because we're a lot of, like we're obsessed with knowing, right? But there's a certain kind of like wonder in the unknown and it, like something like magical in that way.
Very well put. It is magical. Absolutely. And you're right. It's like this ability to be comfortable with the unknown is real. It's as real as it gets. Thank you. Thanks for sharing that. Um, so this is what the Zohar is telling us. I mean, the reason why I chose this section is because the endless world, the Ein Sof, the world with no end, is like one of my favorite topics. Not because I understand it, but because I had to work to get comfortable with it. Because ultimately, if we're trying to create a relationship with the creator, that's part of the relationship. It's like, who is the creator? Well, use the word creator and you just put a limit on it. It's not some guy in the attic somewhere, in the attics of reality. And it's like, yes, we say that these prayers rise up, but there's not a linearity there. They rise in the sense they're going higher or they're going deeper. It's really more of a depth beyond this veil of physicality. It's beyond the veil of physicality. Physicality is just a veil. It's not real. And like even and like when you look at quantum physics, we know that this reality collapses when it's not being observed. I mean, I'm going to walk into my living room and it's going to look exactly the same way I looked at it. It looked last time, but that's my brain doing that, is collapsing that reality so I can navigate it. And again, the endless world, I don't want to collapse that. I don't think I can collapse it. It's hidden. That's why it's not collapsible, because it's hidden for me. It's hidden for good reason. I don't want to put, we don't want limitations on that. We put limitations on everything we're navigating all day long in this illusion of physicality. Observing places limits on things. Naming places limits on things. We're dealing with limitless. And we want our consciousness there because we want unlimited blessings flowing into the world. And so another huge opportunity for us here in expanding our consciousness, in elevating our consciousness, we're connecting to the endless world and paradoxically manifesting everything into our world. Let's continue.
The endless world cannot be known.
Okay, so like, a spoiler alert, I said that in the beginning. Like that's the thing, we can't know it by definition. We can't. We're we can't. We're physical beings. We're spiritual beings having a physical experience. We cannot. Does my soul know the concept? I would say yes. Do I know that? I don't know. I don't know. But I think so. I feel safe in saying that, but I don't know. I imagine our soul does. Our soul, there's this idea, and we talked about it before. I'm here and my soul's here. But I am here. But my soul is here. Am I connected to my soul? This is the perfected version of myself. Is it around, is it actually in existence? Yes, it is. There's a perfected version of yourself that's out there. Can I interact with it? I mean, you are interacting with it. Am I conscious of that? Not sure. But I want to have that consciousness. I want to have an awareness that, yeah, I guess I am constantly interacting with my soul, with the perfected version of myself. What's in that space between where I'm at now and the perfected version of my soul? All my hangups, basically. All my blockages, all my negativity, all my selfishness, my anger, my pride, ego. When can I get rid of it? Yes. Can you get rid of can you get rid of all that space at one time? Sure. But I mean, it's like, how do you eat an elephant one bite at a time? We're limited. At the ego level, there are limitations. I place limitations there. If I could get rid of all those limitations, I'm manifesting the full light of my soul. That's what we're working on. That's what we're all trying to do is manifest that perfected version of ourselves. And we want to connect to it. I'd love to have a conversation with that perfected version of myself. I'd love to have a conversation with my soul. Well, I mean, you're getting messages all the time, but we're so caught up in ego, in body consciousness, we're not hearing the messages. The more we recognize the messages we're getting, the more messages we'll get. We strengthen that connection. Okay, let's continue.
Nor has it an end or beginning.
I mean, it doesn't have an end, doesn't have a beginning. Well, that's tough. I mean, is there any reference point that we have in physicality to something that doesn't have an end, that doesn't have a beginning? Is there anything that we interact with that doesn't have an end, it doesn't have a beginning? No. I mean, yes and no. No, not that I can see or perceive with my five senses. Yes, I'm interacting with it all the time, but it's behind the veil. So again, I just want to, at times, I just want to be able to like hack into that. Let's continue.
It is not like ayin, literally not, which is Keter called ayin.
Okay, so Keter has a nickname. Again, Keter is the highest of 10 sfirot. It's also known as ayin. Naught, nothing. Well, that's a label, and that's limiting. So really, Ein Sof is above Keter. And we have a hard enough time understanding nothingness, let alone endless. And really what we're doing here, and I think it's so powerful, is we are pushing the envelope. We're exploring the limits to our consciousness. It reminds me of the Truman Show. When he gets in the boat, he's going to sail off to a foreign land, and he goes and he's in the water and he hits a wall. This is our wall. We can't go past that with conscious thought. And that's okay. That's just the reality. So we've pushed the envelope. We're banging up against the limits of consciousness. But I think it's a really powerful and important consciousness to have because it helps us gain perspective on everything else that we do have the ability to perceive. Because we're perceiving it in the context of a world where we came to do work and there's limitations to our consciousness. And it's important also because we're not here to just study. We're here to perfect our souls. We're here to close the gap between where I am with my ego and body consciousness and where the perfected version is, where my soul is. We're here to close that gap because the more I close that gap, the more light I manifest. And this understanding of this Zohar is just helping us understand the construct of the reality in which we are operating. And it really goes back to if I want a more purposeful life, I need to understand the reasons why I'm doing things. I don't need to understand what lies beyond this world, including I understand the 10 sfirot is important, but understanding what's beyond there, there is something beyond there, but I'm limited in my ability to understand that. And so here is the realm in which we have work to do. Let's continue. I think we're on our last minute.
The first to produce a head, literally beginning, and an end, Hebrew Soph. What is the head? It is a supernal point, the head to all that is concealed, existing within thought.
Okay, we're going to stop at that, but I just want to point out that is what Keter is. It's seed level. It's the beginning. In truth, Malchut is end, but it's not real. It's just a reservoir in which all that light ends up. That's the realm that we're operating in, within the realm of the 10 Sfirot. Primarily, we're in Malchut, we're in physicality. It has no light of its own. It's where all the light manifests. But connecting to that structure, that construct of reality, and understanding that, and understanding the limitations, it's helping us understand where our blessings go. It's helping us understand where our fulfillment is. And it's helping us understand in the context of that construct, my perfected self is available. And the way to manifest it is working on the blockages that I can identify when I understand I'm a spiritual being having a physical experience and I want to rise above physicality. I need to rise above my nature. I need to deconstruct my thought processes. I need to deconstruct my mindsets. So ultimately, this is all about what's in the head, what's at the seed level, where is my head? And that's why looking at living a life with more purpose and meaning helps me on that journey of figuring out what is the work I need to do, where is I need to be turning my consciousness to. Okay. Thank you for reading, Maria. We're out of time.
Welcome.
Shabbat shalom, everybody. Love you
Shabbat
all.
Shalom.
Have a
Shalom.
great Shabbat.
Bye.
Thank you.
Shabbat shalom.
Shabbat shalom.